Well, thing is, I totally cannot be objective. For me, it's the golden age of music. For people who grew up in the 80s, it might be the 80s, but the music you listen to between 10 and 20 is the music that makes your formative years, is the music that makes the most impression on you. Um, and that was happened to be, I was born in 1960, so it really happened to be the 70s. And there was so much cool stuff going on. And I think it is already in the 60s, but it was still the childhood of music, and in the 70s it came to fruition, and it was still experimenting, but the results were just amazing. But again, I cannot be, I'm totally subjective there, but nevertheless, I do think the 70s may be the most influential decade there ever was, I think, and nothing is ever going to change that.
You mean being with the development of rock in the 70s, and maybe also with disco coming to age, and
punk, even punk. Yeah, I loved punk. Really, people think I would hate it as a progger, but I love those waves that totally wash away the thing that came before, And when the Sex Pistols came, I totally loved it, and I was a total punk with safety pin and spiky hair, and going to the Damned concerts and the adverts and the vibrators and whatever. I bought everything punk, and it was just, sometimes it's time to wash away what happened before. The same that happened with grunge, in the 90s, that the whole glam stuff, the whole 80s stuff was just washed away by bands like Nirvana or Alice in Chains, and I love that too. So
yeah, especially personally, I like Alice in Chains a lot.
Totally.
Yeah,
Dirt is the best album ever made in the 90s.
Well, I personally also like the album that they made, the Alice in Chains album with Grind on it, with the three-legged dog on the front.
Oh, yeah.
1995, 96, I think.
Right.
Right. Lane Staley was still, was a
alive.
Bit working. Yeah, he was around. Yeah. But that album that really breathes struggle with life and with drugs.
Totally.
Yeah. Enough of that. The Rise of the Star, man. I have one question here. Who is the song about?
Well, a lot of people think it's about Bowie, but it's actually it is about Ziggy Stardust, and Ziggy Stardust was a concept album by David Bowie, but not really. It's like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was a concept album, but not really. Maybe one or two songs. Yeah. So there isn't like a clear story in Ziggy Stardust. Someone came to Earth and he had 5 years to let the children boogie. That's basically the outline. So I thought it would be cool to give my impression of what I think Bowie wanted to say with the whole Ziggy Stardust thing.
And what did he want to say, according to you?
It doesn't go very deep. It doesn't go very deep. It's just someone who came to Earth and he had like I explained, he had to save the kids. How I leave it up to the interpretation of people, but